I don't think my bun's gonna fit in. My bun ain't gonna fit in. Will it fit? Yeah, everything's so tight. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about managing our debt and sorting our lives out. That's what we're going to be talking about. For anyone that is struggling, anyone that's experiencing financial difficulties, this one might help you out a little bit. The first thing that is really important is to just let you guys know that you're not alone. Something like financial debt is a very, very personal matter and isn't really talked about amongst peers. It's so easy to sit there and go, oh, I'm broke, oh, I ain't got money for today, whatever. But serious financial debt is very, very dangerous, especially in a system like ours where there's so many products and services that, if not managed right, can really get you in a very, very difficult predicament. I'll actually give you some facts and figures that I found online. It says that a young woman's trust survey that was done, based on a young woman trust survey. I think that's a tongue twister. Based on a young woman's trust survey, out of 4,000 individuals that they researched between 18 and 30 years old, at least a quarter are actually in financial debt. 23% of young men are constantly in debt, as opposed to 25% of women that are constantly in debt. 1 in 10 people use payday loans. If you're going through anything remotely similar, there is so much out there for you guys to benefit from, just to avoid getting yourself in a situation you can't later come out of. The second tip I would give you guys is speak to your bank. What a bank can do is just look at all the options available for you. If you're a student, for example, they'll see into opening you a student overdraft account, arrange an actual face-to-face sit-down appointment where you can explain your current situation. And the reason why I say get a face-to-face meeting is because they will look at your individual needs. If you go online searching and trying to speak to these online gurus and stuff, they don't know your situation well. They haven't been able to see you and empathise your situation. They don't understand. So what they will do is more of a selling point rather than trying to help you. What we have to remember in this situation is the people working everywhere and anywhere are all humans, and what you are saying to them is not unfamiliar. A lot of the people might probably be looking at you and advising you and actually going through the same thing. So don't always think that you have to have everything together. Another thing that I would recommend, if you are somebody that is kind of experiencing financial difficulty because you're not able to manage your payments very well, what I would say is set up a standing order to pay off your bills, or your debts, whatever you're contributing money to, and it literally acts exactly like a direct debit. However, the only difference is you can cancel it at any time, and you can also change the amount that you pay. So the date that the money comes out should be on your payday, and that is just so that you don't even see it. I mentioned before in last week's video about 0% balance transfers with credit cards. So again, if you're somebody that really struggles paying your credit card off, if you've got a really high interest on it, I think there's a couple of links that I have. I'll put them in the description box below. I think I'm just going to put the same link that I put in the video before because it's really helpful. So it's either go watch my previous video or just look at the description box here. Another tip that I have for people with a car on finance: if you are somebody that has taken out a car on finance at a really young age, your circumstances have now changed and you're really struggling to pay for this car, the first thing I'd advise you guys to do is go and read your loan agreement. There's something called a voluntary termination. Now, what a voluntary termination is for those people that are experiencing a little bit of financial difficulty or don't know kind of if they can keep that car, whatnot, you can actually give that car back in most cases, as long as you've paid 50% of the loan. And please check your loan agreements first. If it says anything in there about a voluntary termination, have a read and see where to go. It's important for me to tell you though, it can impact your credit score because again, it just shows a sign that you are not able to meet payments. However, on the plus side, if you know that you're not going to be able to pay this car off, no way, it's so much better to reduce your credit score a little bit and prevent all of the possibilities that could really happen, as opposed to putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, what's your credit score really gonna look like then? Please, please, please do not take out any payday loans. Please don't. And why I say that is just look at their interest rates. If you find one that works for you, then that is absolutely fine. I'm not here to put any businesses to shame. They're there to help you. However, they're there to help people that know how to manage their finance, that know that they can definitely pay that back. For young people, we don't know our financial circumstances. They shift, they change every other year. I really don't have to say much about them. Just take a look at the interest rates. If you've seen my previous video about how I explained interest rates, they work in a very similar way. Another tip that I've got for you guys at uni is speak to your course leader if it's affecting your work. Be very open about that. Things like this, they have a toll on your health. If you're after some moral support, it might be easier to just speak to one of your course teachers that knows you really well. If you really just want to sort your situation out, there is like a, can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, a student, like you have a student centre or something like that in all the unis who you can book a meeting or book an appointment and discuss your situation, what you're going through. And what the uni will do is they will just try again to work with you as much as they possibly can. Like with unis, that's a massive institution. They can help you out quite a bit. Another thing I want to address is parking fines. Let me not say parking fines, let me say transport fines. That includes tapping your Oyster card, parking on some yellow lines or double yellow lines or whatever. It includes everything: trains, motorcycles, crossing the congestion charge and forgetting to pay, crossing the Dartford crossing and forgetting to pay. Because what I think is that the charges for those things are
absolutely ridiculous.
And for young people, they're hard to pay off.
Some people just don't have that money in the next 14 days.
The only piece of advice I can really give you guys in terms of transport tickets is, if you think that by running away from it, it won't catch up to you, then you've got the complete wrong mentality. Running away from these type of fines won't work, because more time they've either recorded you or taken a picture of your registration number. And even if you think you've been left alone for like 3 months or 6 months, or you think, oh, do you know what, they haven't said anything to me yet, I'm gonna just let it go and go and go.
No.
That's not the situation. The situation is that they will, after 6 months, send you that letter, or 7 months, or a year, and it
won't look pretty.
Within 14 days, you could pay £60. So could you imagine what leaving it for 6 months would do? If you don't have the money, that's when you need to ask for help. You need to speak up, because those type of things are very difficult to manage. If they start piling up, they become difficult, and the money that you will be expected to pay in 2 months' time is completely different to the money you're expected to pay in 14 days time. Recently I watched a really touching program on BBC Three called Killed by My Debt. It was based on a true story of Jerome Rogers, who was a 20-year-old male, and he was on a 0-hour contract at work. He had to use a motorbike to get to work, and his debts started really piling up, and it became to a point where he did commit suicide because of his financial difficulties. It's an amazing program, series, I don't know what to call these things. It's a really good watch. I'm gonna link it down below. Hopefully it's still available to watch. The last tip I have is, if you really are struggling, there is a big list of services that can help you. One being the money advice. Now I can't say this word, but I'm gonna put the name right here somewhere, but it's called the Money Advice Bureau. Let me ask Siri what it's called. Siri, what is a money advice bureau?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is a money advice bureau.
Bureau.
Oh my god. But yeah, a money advice bureau. That's a service out there that's designed to help anyone in financial difficulty. They have so many different services that they provide. They can help people in debt, they can help people pay off loans, they can help you set up really efficient and effective plans that will help you manage your money better in the future. So I'm going to link all of their stuff below. The description boxes are amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much all the tips and tricks I have for you guys in regards to managing your debt. If you could take away anything from this, just please remember that you are not alone, and it's a temporary situation more times than most. My email is somewhere, wherever the email is there. Anything on this video you don't understand, let me know. Hard as this life can be, guys, there's a lot out to help you cope, so stay woke, okay? So that's all from me for this week. I'll see you next Sunday. Mwah.